Hello to all my friends out there. Hi, you guys. Well, the comments were good. One of the comments was, why did you buy a roof when you're a renter? Now, that's a good question, you guys. First of all, I wanted to tell you guys I spent every penny of my stimulus because I didn't want to mislead you in that to the thinking that I was in California and I hadn't spent a penny of my stimulus. So what happened was, it was my son's roof. He had bought a house and there was a room and it had a small leak. So my sister's husband, thank you very much, Alan, knew this guy and he gave us a really good price on the roof. And I said, well, let's use the stimulus. So now let me show you something. Yes, look at this. Yesterday, not a cloud on the horizon. Today, that cannot be said. So, when my child was a little boy, I used to tell him these stories. I have a very cheesy setup. Hi. And he used to go, no, Mom, I don't want to hear your stories. Guess what? He had to hear them all of his life. So we got the roof, and thank you very much, President Biden. I can't thank you enough for the roof. I know rain is coming. So what happened was, a farmer went to the fair and he said, you know, I really need a good ranch hand. And he got to the fair and he saw this guy sitting on the fence chewing a piece of hay. And he went up to him and he said, hey, are you a ranch hand? And the guy said, yes. And he said, are you looking for a job? And the guy said, yes. And the farmer said, well, why should I hire you? Because he's getting annoyed. And the guy said, well, I can sleep when it rains. And so the farmer went on and he kept thinking about this and thinking about this. And he came back and he said, okay, I'm going to hire you. And the guy goes, you'll be glad you did. So they went back to the ranch. This was big, and my mom's side had the ranches. And the guy turned out to be a really good ranch hand. He was hard. He was a hard worker. He really knew what to do. And the farmer was really glad he hired him. One night he heard thunder, he heard lightning, and he said, oh no. He jumped up and he ran and he got the ranch hand out of a sound sleep. And he said, big rain coming, hurry, secure the hay, secure the livestock. And the the ranch hand rolled back over and said, I already did. So we are very happy that we got the roof fixed. You don't know how happy. So especially we got a good deal. So that was super duper. Thanks to my sister. By the way, the baby looks like my sister. I can't believe it. That's good. And my sister's daughter, that's good. Okay, so now what? One of the followers said, why don't you just get the vaccination? Well, I have a reason. Okay. Can you believe this, what I do with my key? It's hot here. Well, anyway, what I want to do is I want to see what is going to happen with these vaccinations. Are there going to be reactions? Is it going to be like polio and smallpox? Everybody has to get the vaccination? Or is it going to be more like a flu shot? Some people really need the flu shot. If they don't get the flu shot, you know, they'll really be sorry. So, and if some people never get the corona, they're not too risky at spreading it. So we're going to wait and see. It may be possible, it might possibly be that everybody really needs to get one, in which case I will get one. And then there was another little issue. This is like when I was waiting to see. Okay, not that I was waiting to see this, but this kind of indicates how they don't always disclose everything to us. Okay, the Johnson & Johnson vaccination contained fetal cell lines created from aborted babies. So a lot of I think the Catholic Church came out and said, hey, that's, not for us. And so my son and I are talking about it. Well, the vaccination, first of all, I'm pretty sure they use this fetal material in all kinds of things, and they don't actually tell us, which is wrong. Just like the GMO thing there for a while. And I was mentioning the other day that we have to be very careful. Everything we put in our mouths, everything we, drink, medications, everything, because we don't actually 100% know. Lab created meat is creepy. For the fetal cell line issue, who knows? So by waiting and not rushing in and getting the vaccination, then it gives you a better chance to decide exactly what you want to do. So we were saying, well, first of all, the Johnson & Johnson is only 60% effective, and the 2-shot vaccination is 95%, they're saying, effective. So would it be better to endure 2 shots, or would it be better to get the 1 shot knowing it has these fetal cell lines in them? Probably so does the other one. So, that is why I'm waiting. Let's see what happens. It's possible I will never really need to get one if I'm careful. We'll have to wait and see about that. Okay, so now I want to talk to you a minute about stocks. Okay, silver has taken a slight dip. It was pretty high. Kroger was doing well there, and it took a dip, but now it's back to about $34. But the new one is Palantir, Palantir, and it is an information collecting AI type data company. So I'm thinking, okay, so the silver is like silver and gold. Well, if you're a poor person like me, you can't just go buy piles of gold, but you can buy a silver coin every once in a while. And metals have endured the test of time. So I go, yeah, silver every once in a while is a good idea. What I did is I just bought 1 coin every now and then. And then Kroger is good because, you're saying to yourself, would I actually want to own this company? Well, I don't know about that, but, buying a little stock, because the stock is still reasonable, $35 a share. And this is one thing I like about this Palantir, Palantir stock. It dipped from 40 something to 25. But that means nothing. That just means that big investors pulled their money up when pulled their money out when the stock was high. But the stock is only $25 a share. And so with me, I'm not trying to make money. I'm just buying the stock little by little, and then when I die, my son will have a little stock. But the guy, the AI, I don't know, the guy who owns the company, he who owns information owns the world. And I thought, wow, that reminds me of Lucifer, the god, or Satan, the god of this world. Like, see the little eye at the top of the pyramid? Okay, so they say the devil wants to be like God. He wants to say he is Jesus, and he wants to be like God. Okay, God knows everything. God can be everywhere at once, whereas Lucifer or Satan can only be at one place at a time. And I've heard stories of him walking among men. Do I think he walks among men? Yes, I do. So one of the ways to see everyone all the time is the AI. The AI, get it? But anyway, those are 3 good stocks, okay? Now, I did a video on my stockpile, not to show you guys, oh, I'm so smart, look at all the food I had. No, that's not the idea. because now I'm going to be eating the stockpile down. If you have been following me this year, you have seen me buy every bit of that food because I showed you. And I think one of the most beneficial things to do is show people what you do, and then they can do it if they want, and they don't have to if they don't want to. And so I was eating my freezer down, which was good. And what I discovered is my freezer will hold about 4 months food. But by redoing my freezer a bit, I could probably fit 6 months, because I had a lot of bread in my freezer. And I don't need to freeze bread. I can just make bread. Okay, so I'm doing these meal plans. And so I have hamburger, chicken, Polish sausage, fish sticks, bacon, steak, pork chops. And I came up with 7 meals. Since I just have one little piece, what I did is I bought a big tray of meat and I cut it in 16 pieces, and I just have one piece left. So I'll probably just make some tasty hamburger out of that. Chicken, chicken and potatoes, Polish sausage, I just have one. So what I did is I put 1 and 1 by the Polish sausage. So if I find good deals, I want to get a few of those. Fish sticks and macaroni and cheese. I might make that tonight. Bacon, bacon and eggs. Steak, my favorite. I bought cheap steaks. They weren't cheap steaks. They were marked down steaks, so they were cheap. And so what I really love is steak with ranch beans and corn. So I have ranch beans in my stockpile. I have corn in my stockpile. And then I have pork chops, and I like to make pork verde. I just fry the pork chops, and then I pour green salsa, and I put green olives, and I cover and bake it, and then I make it with rice. Then I have rice, I have instant potatoes and canned sweet potatoes, all in the stockpile, canned vegetables and fruit. So here is a list. So what happens now for the next year, I won't get, my son's house won't get destroyed, and I have food for a year. So if you don't have food for a year, when you see what I cook, then you'll know maybe to buy that. I wanted to mention, about the roof. This was a nightmare. Not the last apartment, but the apartment before. I told them for 16 years, you have a leak in your roof. This is another thing. Did you say leak? Oh, no. I had a mobile home and a home, and my roof never leaked. They came up with every excuse. I had a vent in my hall, and every time it rained, I would have to put buckets under there. And this went on for 16 years. Furthermore, it's not good having leaks. So I was determined to get this roof thing fixed. I mean, you can live like that, but why? It's awful. But since it wasn't my dwelling, I thought, well, that's on you. Okay, the place I live now, this is what I wanted to mention if you're a renter. The place I live now is privately owned, and the guy keeps it nice, and it doesn't need a single repair. But if it did need a single repair, all I have to do is ask him, and he's going to fix it. But since I'm in there, and I'm in my car from the time I get up until it's dark, there's very little wear and tear. I tried to tell the last idiot before the last ones that I was the best tenant he ever had, which was true. I'm never in the place, so there's no wear and tear on the place. I could live there 16 years like I did in that rat hole, and, the place would be fine. Okay, so now in my freezer, I have cheese, butter, and I saw this kid. Kids influence me very much in the grocery store. I see what they're running around with, and I go, oh, that looks good. And in Walmart, there was a kid, he had lunch meat. They have a block that is about this big. It looked like ham. And what I like is ham and Swiss cheese. Every single day, ham and Swiss cheese, hamburger. These are my favorite sandwiches. And then fresh fruit and fresh vegetables. So here's the list. Okay, I want to mention one more thing, and then I'm done for today. Okay, this is about picking our battles. when I was an EMT, rule number 1, survey the scene. Don't just run into the burning building and get killed too. No one's, that's not smart. Also, homicide, if you run in, you just run right back out. Okay, my friend's husband, 2 girls were drowning. He swam out and he rescued one, and then he went out, they were in a riptide, he went out to rescue the other one and he drowned too. 2 people drowned. So you want to say to yourself, probably the lifeguards could have gotten there in time and nobody would have drowned. So that's why you want to survey the scene. So, okay, we're in the middle of this recession. We want to survey the scene and we want to say to ourselves, wait a minute, is this a new reality? What is actually going on here? Or is this just like a damned recession? It could be a little bit of both. Are we evolving in a new direction? It's possible that this 5G may take us into a new direction. That's why I think Palantir might be a good idea, because the information can be sent worldwide instantaneously pretty much now with this 5G. A lot of people think it's good, but this is what we have now. So if we're evolving and reality is going to be slightly different, then we can say, okay, maybe I should do a little bit of adjusting. Okay, now about these dips in the stock market, one of the, I'll just say woman, said, they said, well, what about these dips? Because Tesla dipped and, I just told you 2 dipped. She said, well, I'm in for the long haul. I'll just hang on for 5 years. Well, what's happening in 5 years? Well, we're making America great again, possibly. And that's what I said was going to happen, that the wealthy people were just going to sit around in Del Mar or Coronado and wait it out. So if you want to do the long haul investing, and you invest with money that you can afford to let sit there for 5 years, that might be beneficial. And then also we want to ensure our basic survival. So that's where I am always at. Food, stockpiling food, water. I don't have the water purifier yet. I want to get one. Shelter and transportation. It's that easy. And then, if you get a little extra money, then maybe buy a silver coin. I started out with silver. Silver is not, when I started buying silver, it was $19. Then it was $24. And then it went up and it'll probably dip back down. But silver is good. And I think the Kroger is good too. So, okay, you guys, please like, comment, and subscribe, and God bless you all. Oh, and thanks for the comments. They were super duper.